Our story begins with Shin on her first day at school. She is searching for her classroom, and we learn that this is her final year of high school. By mistake, she bumps into a boy named Hang. As she falls, Hang catches her, but his phone drops to the ground. Shin tries to thank him, but he leaves before she can say anything. Next, during the welcome ceremony, the school introduces Hang to everyone. They announce that he has the highest IQ score in the school, making him the top student. Hang introduces himself, and the whole school claps for him. Many girls, including Shin, are attracted to him, but she knows it will be hard to see him often, because top students study in a separate building. We also learn that Hang is not just smart in books. He is creative too, and he easily solves the hardest math problems in front of everyone. After that, Shin and her friends hear that Hang is at a cafe nearby. All the girls rush to see him and follow him until he goes into his building. Later, during one of Hang's talks, he speaks about childhood cancer, and Shin and the other girls are there listening. Meanwhile, a photo appears online of Hang with a girl named Sue from his class. The girls think they are dating. Shin feels upset and spends the whole day staring at his picture. Her friends tell her to stop daydreaming. At this point, a classmate named Min comes to Shin. He gives her flowers and says he likes her, but Shin says no, telling him she loves Hang and plans to confess her feelings soon. Her friends decide to help her. They create a distraction in class so Shin can go and meet Hang. During the break, she goes to the building where the top students study. When she sees Hang, she gives him a gift and confesses her love. But Hang rejects her right away, saying he does not like girls who act foolish or are not smart. Then he walks away. Shin feels embarrassed but is thankful that no one saw it. However, a security camera caught everything, and soon the video spreads among all the students. Students surround Shin, taking pictures of her. When she gets home, she finds the video has already been shared on social media, with everyone mocking her. At the same time, she sees her father leaving the house and telling her to run, though she doesn't understand why. Then she notices many rats coming out of the house, and suddenly the house collapses. The press arrives and interviews Shin and her father. The news reports that they are now homeless, and the story spreads fast. Shin's classmates, including Min and his friends, start a fundraiser to help her. She tries to hide, but they find her and bring her to where the money is being collected. Still, she refuses their help. Just then, Hang shows up and starts mocking her, saying her father was foolish for buying a cheap house. Shin gets angry and defends her father, saying he worked hard so she could go to a good school. She says grades don't decide a person's character. In front of everyone, she challenges Hang, saying that in the next exam, she will become one of the top students and her name will be listed next to his. After that, Shin goes back to her father and helps gather their things from the rubble. Her father tells a friend named Jin what happened. Jin offers to let them stay at his home until things get better. Jin's assistant comes to pick them up. When they arrive, Jin welcomes them warmly, and his wife greets Shin kindly too. She introduces Shin to her young son Chan. Next, Mina, Jin's wife, shows Shin her new room. While talking, Shin learns that Mina's older son goes to the same school as her. Mina proudly says her son is famous at school, and adds that she always wanted a daughter like Shin, so they could be close friends. She even jokes that Shin might one day become her son's bride. Shin then tells Mina about a boy she likes at school, even though he rejected her. Before bed, she tries to burn Hang's pictures, but she can't bring herself to do it. Everywhere she looks, she sees his face, even on her bed sheets. Suddenly, Hang appears in front of her, and she is shocked. That's when she realizes Hang is actually Jin and Mina's son. He tells her to throw away all his pictures, but she refuses, saying, "Don't touch anything of mine." Hang replies, "You're right, it's none of my business," even though they now live in the same house. Then he leaves her room. The next morning, as Hang leaves for school on his bike, his mother stops him and asks him to give Shin a ride. Shin is very happy to join him, but halfway there, Hang stops and warns her, "Don't tell anyone we live together, and always stay at least 5 meters away from me." Then he rides off without her. At school, Mina sends Shin a funny video of Hang playing which makes her laugh. She sends it to Hang, and he asks to meet her privately. The other girls notice this and are surprised. Shin says, "Weren't you the one who told me to stay away? Now you're asking to meet me." Hang shows her the video and asks her to delete it. Shin sees a chance and makes a deal. He must help her with her studies so she becomes a top student, or she'll share the video with the whole school. Hang agrees and Shin is thrilled. So Hang starts tutoring her in math. Shin struggles at first, but after repeating the lessons many times, she slowly improves. She studies all day at school, so focused that she barely notices anything around her. Min follows her closely, protecting her from harm. At one point, he even saves her from a falling flower pot. Meanwhile, Hang watches Shin study. He teaches her a very difficult math problem and tells her it will be on the upcoming exam, so she must study hard. Shin practices until she can solve it correctly. Later, she notices Hang has fallen asleep from tiredness. She sits beside him, promising herself she will meet, and even beat, his expectations. Eventually, she falls asleep too. Hang's mother walks in and takes a picture of them sleeping side by side. On exam day, Shin manages to finish all the questions. When the results come out, Shin eagerly searches for her name among the top students, but she doesn't find it. The girls around her start mocking her for challenging others in public. Just then, the school staff arrive with Hang, who points out that one name is missing from the list. After checking again, they announce that Shin's score does place her among the top students. Hang writes her name on the board in front of everyone, which upsets the girls who like him. On the other hand, Shin's friends are overjoyed. She proudly says, "Finally, my name is written next to yours," and Hang congratulates her. She celebrates with her friends, jumping with joy. The story then moves to the school's 87th sports competition. Min races against Hang, hoping to win so Shin will choose him. But Min loses and Hang wins the race. Hang's mother stands among the cheering girls. Then she decides to share a picture of her son and Shin together, revealing to everyone that they live in the same house. After the race, Hang starts teasing Min for losing, and a fight breaks out. Shin steps in and tells Hang that Min is a good person, unlike him, and says she doesn't like his arrogance. At that moment, one of Hang's friends plays an old video where Shin says, "I love you," from the day Hang rejected her. Hang laughs and the students start mocking Shin again. In response, Shin plays the video of the students fighting, and now everyone laughs at Min instead. Soon both groups start fighting with each other. After the fight, Hang takes Shin to a quiet place and asks why she did that. She tells him he always treats her badly in front of others, so she hopes to forget her feelings for him someday. She adds that once she finishes school, she'll meet a handsome boy and start a relationship with him instead. Hang steps closer and tells her she will never be able to forget him. Then he walks away. When Shin returns home, she sits with Mina. Mina says she is happy that Shin has feelings for her son, and tells her that Hang has changed since she came into their home. She explains that Hang doesn't get along with his father, because his father is always busy with work. Mina adds that everyone expects Hang to take over his father's company, but she only wants her son to be happy, and she believes Shin can give him that happiness. This makes Shin very glad, and she promises Mina that she will always stand by Hang. The next day, Hang has an important exam that will decide if he can study abroad. Shin makes a lucky charm and secretly puts it in his bag, wishing him luck. However, on the way to the exam, Hang slips on the stairs and arrives late. As he starts writing, his pen breaks. He feels like bad luck is following him and remembers the charm Shin put in his bag. He assumes it's the reason for his bad luck and rushes to the restroom. Afterward, he goes to get a drink, not knowing Shin is secretly watching him from a distance. When she sees that he's okay, she decides to head home. But on the way, she gets into an accident. Hang spots her from far away and runs to help, finding her unconscious. He rushes her to the hospital. When Shin wakes up, she's at home and worries that Hang missed his exam because of her. Meanwhile, Hang is sitting with his father, telling him that he doesn't want to take the exam. Not because of Shin, but because he doesn't want to take over the company. His father gets angry, and his mother is upset too. Hang explains that he can do everything they want, but only they will be happy, not him. He asks them to let him follow his own path. He apologizes for the trouble and leaves. Shin overhears the whole conversation and goes to apologize to his father herself. Then she goes to find Hang. When she finds him, she comforts him, telling him he is different from others and deserves to follow what he loves. She encourages him to chase his passion and promises she will always support him. After this, Hang decides to move out and become independent. His father, still angry, refuses to say goodbye as Hang leaves. Hang enrolls at Donan University of Technology, and Shin later finds out he's working at an animal care center. She goes to check on him, bringing a small worm for him to examine, and asks if he's sleeping and eating well. He tells her he's fine and asks her to leave so he can keep working. That night, she prepares food for him and goes to deliver it, but ends up secretly following him to find out where he lives. There she sees Sue, a girl from her class, waiting outside. They both walk into the house together, and Shin stands outside feeling angry. She notices the lights go off and assumes they've gone to sleep, believing they now live together. The next day, she asks Min to help her keep an eye on Hang and Sue as they walk through the garden. Hang notices and asks Shin what she's doing there. She says they are simply celebrating Love Day. Sue starts taking pictures of Shin and Min together, which visibly upsets Hang. To make Shin jealous, he takes a photo with Sue. Later, Min arranges for a car driver to help him run away with someone he likes. But instead of the right person, Sue shows up. The driver speeds off with Sue in the car despite Min shouting for him to stop. Meanwhile, Hang finds Shin and takes her with him on a boat. He asks why she came, and she admits she saw him and Sue enter the house together and wants to know what they were doing. Hang then tells her a story about a young boy named Kong who has cancer. He explains that his father's company and Sue's father's company are donating money to a children's hospital. That's the real reason he was with Sue, waiting for an update about supplies the hospital needed. He tells Shin his true dream is to become a doctor, not take over his father's company. He says she is the first person he has ever told this secret. Overjoyed, Shin jumps up but accidentally falls into the river. Hang jumps in right after her. Once they get out, they realize the last car has already left, so they decide to stay the night at a hotel. Later, they change into dry clothes and Hang goes out to find food. Feeling scared alone, Shin grabs an umbrella and goes looking for him. But she feels like someone is following her, and in fear, she drops the umbrella and starts running. She soon finds Hang, who asks why she came out. She admits she was scared, so he gives her his jacket. They walk back to the hotel together. That night, as Hang falls asleep, Shin whispers, "Whoever becomes your wife one day will be very lucky," and wishes for that woman to love him even more than she does. As she drifts off to sleep, Hang, who secretly heard everything, says quietly to himself, "I will never find someone who loves me as much as you do." The next morning, Hang's mother calls to say his father is in the hospital, seriously ill. Hang and Shin rush there. Shin's father tells them that Hang's father has had heart problems for a long time, and his condition has worsened due to overwork. The doctor says he needs heart surgery, and will inform them once it's scheduled. Meanwhile, Hang's assistant tells him the company is facing serious financial trouble, and the company founders want a meeting, one that his father was supposed to lead. Hang decides to go handle it himself, asking his mother to look after his father and keep him updated. He leaves with his assistant. Shin follows him and sees Hang standing with Sue, who has brought in heart specialists to examine his father and prepare for surgery. Hang then heads to the company to try to fix the financial crisis with the founders. Meanwhile, his father goes into surgery, and his condition remains uncertain. During this stressful time, Hang keeps thinking about memories with his father, clearly troubled. He works late reviewing the company's finances, trying to find a solution. Exhausted, he eventually falls asleep at his desk, and Shin comes in quietly to cover him with a blanket. The next morning, he wakes up realizing he's late, grabs his bag, and rushes out while drinking coffee that Shin had made for him. That evening, Shin waits outside the company holding an umbrella. When Hang comes out and sees her, she says, "I was worried about you. I brought this so you don't get wet in the rain." But Hang tells her not to help him anymore. He says he has no time for her right now, since he's dealing with work and his father, and asks her to stay away. Later that night, Shin sits alone, upset, and her father comes to talk to her. He tells her she should think about getting her own place and moving out of respect for the family they're staying with. He advises her to stay calm and in control of her emotions, as he knows she can be. Shin agrees and takes his words to heart. A few days later, Jin is recovering well, and his whole family stays close, taking care of him. His father asks Hang about his relationship with Sue. Hang explains that if he marries her, it would bring a big investment into the company and help solve its money problems. His father tells him that if he ever marries, it should be to someone he truly loves. Just then, Shin walks in saying she came to check on Jin. Hang tells her he's planning to propose to Sue and pause his studies. Shin congratulates him, even though she's heartbroken inside. She says, "I thought my dream would come true, but I guess it's over now. I won't chase it anymore," before running off in tears. She packs her things and leaves the house, telling Mina and Jin about her decision. Later, we see her working as a nurse at a hospital. While scrolling through Facebook, she sees a photo of Hang and Sue and learns that Hang is giving a lecture at their old school. She hesitates but eventually decides to go, hiding among the students to listen. When she arrives, she hears Hang say, "The rumors you heard were only meant to test you. I wanted to know if you still loved me, and when you showed up, I knew you did." He confesses that he still loves her and has missed her deeply. He says he has been living on nothing but memories of her, because she is the only one who has ever truly touched his heart. Then Hang asks her to marry him. Shin, unable to believe her dream is finally coming true, agrees, knowing she will spend the rest of her life with the man she loves. And with that, the story comes to an end.